Hi everyone, it's Friday. I'm Gareth, which of course means it's Friday. It's Mental Health Awareness Week as well this week, so welcome to the video. Just wanted to quickly talk about Mental Health Awareness Week. As I just said, it is this week running, and the theme this year was originally going to be sleep, I believe, but they changed it in light of the COVID-19 pandemic, changed the theme to kindness. So you've probably, if you've been watching videos this week, you've probably seen that various members of staff and volunteers and friends of Trust Links who have been doing their videos have been holding up sheets of paper with words of what Trust Links mean to them. So I'm also going to join in with that. I'm going to turn my camera around because otherwise it's going to be mirrored. You're not going to be able to see it, so bear with me. Hopefully you can still see me, because I can't see myself now because the camera's the other way around. But that is my 3 words that I associate with Trust Links. I haven't got a printer at home, so I had to hand draw some embellishments on myself. So, as I've said, the theme for Mental Health Awareness Week is kindness, and I actually chose that as one of my first words, of words that I associate with Trust Links, mainly because kindness to me is around doing things for or with other people that you know will have a positive impact. And I think that really sums up all of Trust Links services. I've worked for Trust Links for 3 years, just gone 3 years now, and I must say that the kindness that you see within all of the services, from the staff, from students, from members, from volunteers, all there supporting each other and accepting each other within our services, really does sum up for me that kindness is at the heart of Trust Links. Next on my list was growth, which is a bit of a pun, because obviously we've run our Growing Together projects. So growth in terms of plants, nature, but also in terms of personal growth within all of our projects. So that could be courses, that could be positive activities from the hub or from the Reach Recovery College, or growth for younger people with our Youth Links projects. But like I say, that will relate both to nature, but also personal growth and mental health recovery, showing that recovery is possible and growing as a result of that kindness. Another thing that definitely resounds for me for Trust Links is that sense of community, that the kindness that people show and the growth that people undergo all leads into that sense of inclusion, sense of belonging, and that sense of community, which is really at the heart of what everything that Trust Links hopes to achieve. So that's whether that's through our events or whether that's just from peer support, but that sense of inclusion and community and getting to know people through engaging with our projects and building up people's social capital and getting to know other people. So as you can see, I've got my Mental Health Awareness Week hashtag at the bottom. Also got the Friends of Trust Links. I don't know if you've seen our post this week. We've launched a new scheme for regular giving for Friends of Trust Links. It's a bit like an exclusive club. People can opt to make a regular donation to help us help more people. But there's also exclusive benefits to that as well, including badges and all sorts of other goodies. So if you haven't checked that out already, please do. So without further ado, I'm hoping you could all see that, because I couldn't see you. I'm going to turn back round. Oh, thank you, Sarah. I'm going to turn you back round so you can see the bird feeder in the background. Again, I'm not going to be making that this week. I've had a nightmare with my glue gun. It blew up last week. I ordered a new one, but unfortunately it hasn't turned up as of 5 minutes ago. So I spent last night doing a bit of preparation and thinking what we could do instead. Another one of the words that I could have put on my list was going to be around sort of the eco-friendly recycling ethos, the earth care value that Trustlinks leads on. So to link in with that, decided that I was going to do a bit of recycling today. So the staple of all good crafts is obviously the toilet roll holder. Cardboard inner tube from either toilet roll or kitchen roll, and I thought, what could we make from that? So I'm assuming that most people will have some of these. They're easy to get hold of, everyone's using them. If you were involved in the panic buying at the beginning of the pandemic, I'm sure some people will have had more than most, but today we're going to be using these to make something hopefully quite beautiful. So what you want to start off with is a few of these. You can either use kitchen roll or toilet rolls. I know there was a thing not long ago, or in the news not long ago, saying about schools refusing to take these because of risk of contamination. If that's something that does concern you, you can microwave these for 10 seconds and that apparently sterilises them, kills all the germs because of the heat. So without further ado, I'm going to show you how to make something from these. So I don't actually have anything prepared to show you what we're going to make, so I'm going to just talk you through the process. First off, I'm going to move my camera down so we can see. Hi Georgina, nice to see you. Right, so let me see. So you start off with your toilet rolls or your kitchen rolls, and you need a ruler, a pencil and a pair of scissors. We're also going to need a Pritt stick or similar glue later on to see what we're going to be making. So what we want to start off with is the ruler, and we're going to mark up along the lines. So putting a mark every 1.5 centimeters. So you start 1.5, 3, 4.5, 6, 7.5, 9, and that should at the end there be about even. I chose 1.5 centimeters because that's about the size that we're going to need. You want it quite thick, but also usually divides up quite nicely, so you'll end up, when we cut that, with individually, or they're the same size across the board. So you make a mark on that mark, squish your tube down a little bit and grab your scissors and just cut along that line, trying to keep that line as straight as possible for the front and back of your tube. So you're squishing it down into a sort of oval shape. I could do the sort of, can you tell what it is yet? So you want to do that a few times with a few toilet rolls or a few cardboard tubes, and the aim is that when they get cut you get a nice oval shape. So we're going to make, there's several things you can make with this. Today I'm going to be making a wall decoration. Hi Sally, hi Lee, I've just seen you pop up. But today I'm going to make a wall hanging. You can also make mobiles, you can make sort of dream catcher type things out of this. But the basic premise is that these ovals that you're cutting out will join together to make different patterns. Obviously that's a nice little flower pattern, and you can then actually join them together. So if you've got several of them, there's a couple I prepared earlier, these are quite different sizes. One thing when you're choosing your toilet rolls or your tubes, if you try and get them the similar sizes, so when you're making a shape like that, all of your individual parts will be the same size. It doesn't matter if you have got two different sizes ones, because you can actually make different things with that, which I'll show you in a minute. But when you're putting these individual shapes together, it is helpful to make them the same size so they come out nice and symmetrical. So you can, with one of them, then start building a bit of a picture. I'm just going to quickly cut another one of them. Which we're then going to glue together. So you can build individual shapes from that and then connect them up to each other. So you could actually have one on there, one going across, and sort of build up something from that. So yesterday when I was having a bit of a play around, I decided that I would make a bit of a shape, which I prepared earlier. I'm going to slide it across with some sort of unveiling. It has fallen apart while I tried to slide it. So last night I put them together, made a bit of a shape. I think that's a spare. And I decided that actually I was going to paint it. Let's see if I can get that a bit higher actually so you can see it a bit better. So I painted individual elements and put them together into a nice shape. Like I say, you can do individual flowers that then come off and make a bigger sort of sprawling art. I decided to go with a bit of a star slash snowflake. And for the middle bit there, I'll just show you what I did with that. So one of your, I didn't want to keep it bare in the middle, so I took one of the ovals and just made a cut on the top end and just rolled that round in a spiral. Pop a dab of glue on there. You'll probably notice that that one won't be big enough to sit in the middle and actually be glued in, so I just did the same with another one and grabbed that one and rolled that round in the same way, just to make it a bit thicker. So once you've decided on your design, so you can then paint them, decide on what colours you want to do. You might want to do it all the same colour, or like me, I've sort of done the green in the middle, sort of creamy off-white, lovely turquoise, I like that colour, and the brown. And you're going to work from the inside out to stick these together. Now Pritt Stick works really well with this, but it does take a little while to dry, and you'll find that you'll be holding them together. So I've decided that today I was going to use some glue dots. If you've not used glue dots before, I highly recommend them. They're quite cheap to buy. You can get them in most shops. I think I got these from a supermarket. But really good for craft activities, because all you need to do, they come on a big strip, and all you really need to do is dab it on where you want it on one side. That then, he says, peels off nice and easily onto there, and you can place them together like so. And when you're gluing, what you want to do is make sure that you're gluing the edge where the fold is to the other side So you end up like that, and then just build it as you go around. So I'm using glue dots for this. They hold really well. Pritt stick works just as well. I'm just doing this for time and convenience today. So most of these individual bits are made up. Individual flowers are made up from 6. You can experiment, have a bit of a play around, put 5 in, put 7 in. Just sort of build up different shapes. Like I say, I've seen ones that sort of sprawl across the wall, where you've got several flowers or several patterns stuck together. You could even do a 4. You sort of make stems in between, just to make a bit of a different pattern. But I thought it was a really great way of recycling or upcycling your toilet roll tubes, and hopefully making something that also looks pretty good as well. If you are using glue dots, the important thing to remember is actually if you stick it on first rather than try and peel it off with your fingers. I tried to peel one off with my fingers a second ago and it just collapsed into a ball. Ooh, like that. So I'm going to peel that one off. Ooh, actually I did want that one. So on your last one you will have one on each side. Stick in between. Right, so you can have 5, you can have 6. For this one I am using 6. And I have got that gap in the middle. I don't know whether that gap is smaller than I thought it was going to be, so I don't know whether my rolled up bit of cardboard will fit. You can always roll it up a bit tighter, or just leave it without anything on. If you do leave it without anything on, you could actually get a bead or a button or similar and actually stick it on the top there just to cover that hole. Or like I say, leave it as is. It looks quite nice with the gap in. But I'm just going to pop that inside just to fill that gap. I should have thought about and painted that first, but hey ho. So then once you've got your basic shape, what I'm going to do is build outwards, similar to the mandalas we were doing last week. You start with your centre and go out from there. So I'm going to put a glue dot on each side. And then slot that in like that. Hi Victoria. Hi Georgia. I'm glad, Georgina rather. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Like I say, it's a nice easy one to get involved with, and actually you don't even need to paint the tubes. If you don't have access to paint or you don't want to paint them, it looks actually quite effective just as the cardboard as well. So you can have a bit of fun with it, unleash a bit of creativity and sort of see where you go with it. I'm lucky that I've got a bag in the kitchen next to the recycling bin full of things that I normally tend to make with the children. So toilet roll tubes are in quite a big supply in this house, so that's always handy. Just going through the comments. Hi Janet, nice to see you. Hi Lee and Jeanette, thank you. So it's really simple but really effective, this one, with it's a really good way of recycling as well. Didn't quite go according to plan. I'm going to have to peel that one off. So if you can't decide what colours you want to paint them, you could, theoretically you could paint them afterwards. I find it easier to paint them before. A, because then you know exactly where, according to your design, they're going to go. But also it makes it far less fiddly just in painting individual bits rather than trying not to get more onto, or trying to keep your different colours separate. As you probably noticed there, when I pulled off that bit, because I did it wrong, I did pull off a bit of paint, but luckily it's on the inside so no one's going to notice. I can also touch that up afterwards if you need to. So the more you put on it, the more solid it tends to then become. So what goes from quite a flimsy cardboard tube actually then really starts to get some strength behind it. I've now got to remember how I was going to do this. I had them all laid out before and I don't know whether I've actually done it the way I'd intended. That said, I've said before, there's no such thing as an accident in as a mistake in art. You just roll with it. Is it like that, or is it like that? I'm just going to keep going and see how it ends up. Ah. Sorry, that's my technology failing on me. I've just managed to, where I'm looking at the top of the screen so I can see everyone's comments, I've had to lean the phone over this way from the tripod and blue tacked one end of the tripod, which I've just managed to knock over. So apologies for that. It's another warm day today. Bank holiday on Monday. So I hope everyone has a lovely weekend. If you're watching this live, I don't know if you know, we've got a quiz this afternoon. Details are on our Facebook page. It'd be lovely to see some faces in there as part of our Friends of Trust Links launch, and also part of the Mental Health Awareness Week. It'd be lovely to see everyone's face at 1 o'clock for some kindness related questions. So that sets us up quite nicely to go into the weekend. What have I done with them? Oh, they are dropped on the floor. Lost my glue dots for a second then. Hi Rob, just seen you pop up. Good to see you. Did I have it like that before? This is the problem with not making one in advance, I suppose, is that I can't remember actually how I had these laid out, so I'm almost making it up as I go along. But hopefully we'll still come out looking alright. I've got a funny feeling I had them further down originally. A bit more like that, and then that off like that. That's why I have done that wrong. I was thinking that didn't look right at all. So I'll say, before that glue dries too much, I'm going to peel them off and start again. Good thing with glue dots is they are quite easy to peel off. So let's try that again. Didn't quite look right, but I couldn't quite work out what I'd done wrong either. So that one and that one go in there. And that one and that one go in there. That's better. Oh, that sits a lot better. Hi Ali, hi Alison, hi Andy, seen you popping up. So we're just using inside the toilet roll, kitchen roll tubes today, which are painted up and making different effects with. So there's quite a few different things you can do. Showed the flower earlier. You can make individual flower shapes which you can then link up and sort of sprawl across the wall. But making a bigger effect in sort of a snowflake or star type shape today. They make really good either wall hangings, or you can make mobiles out of them, hang one off of the other. A few different things you can do just by creating nice basic oval shapes which you can build things from. Again, I've said it probably every week, if you do have a go, I know Georgina said you'd probably give it a go later on today. If you come back on this post, or you post a separate picture on our Trustlinks Live Facebook page, I really love seeing all of your efforts. There's been some absolutely fantastic things. People have been doing Zentangles, they've been doing some other bits that I've made over the weeks, paper flowers, all sorts of fantastic things, and I think you're all putting me to shame, to be honest with you, but I really enjoy seeing them, knowing that people have seen the video and had a bit of inspiration and decided to have a go themselves and made some absolutely fantastic things. like I say, really been putting me to shame. It's lovely to see everyone getting so creative. Hi Kirsty, nice to see you. I was thinking of some of you during this, while I was planning this actually. This is, I know there's some lovely ladies in our women's group that we have over in Shoebury who are really arty, really creative. Some of the things you create from there are absolutely phenomenal. I did wonder whether you might, some of you might appreciate this. That one's still stuck on. I think that's one of the ones I did wrong earlier. It's like I was saying earlier, when you're selecting your toilet rolls, if you always buy the same brand, generally speaking the tubes will always be the same size. Some of these are different sizes. I think these ones were kitchen roll, so we've got slightly different sizes going along this line, and that one is a toilet roll which sits on the end, which is smaller again. But actually, that as long as you're using the same sizes for the same element, as it were, so all of the bits that are going on the same place within your pattern, as long as they're all the same size, it will make quite a nice effect. It doesn't matter if they're slightly smaller than the inner ones. It just adds a bit of variation to the pattern. As you can see, I had just enough glue dots to do this today. I think I'm just about to run out, so I'm going to finish the rest off, I think, with Pritt Stick. Because these ones, although they're there, are all stuck to this cardboard tube, which interestingly I might use for another pattern at that point, because that would be really good to just actually branch things off from. And so you can actually make a bit of a flower from that. Actually, I can see that would probably be a sunflower. You could do the individual bits in the middle, so roll up several bits of your tubes, place them all in, and actually put some petals on the outside of a ring like that. So we'll keep hold of that one. Is that a spare? There's a spare. Okay, so just for the final bits, luckily that one's already got some glue dots on it. I'm going to grab the Pritt Stick. So you just want to dab the edges with enough glue that you can place it in, hold it on. As long as you're laying it flat, you won't have to hold it for it to dry in the right place. I'm going to move that carpet over and hopefully you'll be able to see a better effect. So if you are using Pritt Stick, just squeeze either side of your tubes as you put them in, just to stick them on. It will take a little bit longer to dry. That's why I like the glue dots, because it's sort of an instant seal, and you can then pick them up. But you're left with a nice effect like that. I'm going to turn my camera around if I can show you how that would look. As you can see, I'm in my daughter's room again. So you could then actually hang that up onto the wall. Or like I say, you can hang that from a piece of string and make several hanging off of them. But what I like is when you look at it from different angles, as long as you painted the inside and the outside, you can make some really nice effects from it. So yeah, that is what we've made today out of just cardboard tubes, bit of paint, bit of glue. Like I say, if you do have a go, please do post your pictures. If you make different designs from it, I'd love to see them. And I hope everyone has a lovely weekend. I'm going to put that camera back down just so I can say goodbye. Lovely to see you all, and I'll see you again next week. Bye bye.